feeds our little baby, and it's on the top. And then we really want to see the spine above the butt or tailbone, because that's one of the most common places for spina bifida. And then the other most common place is right at the neck. So we make sure we see the bones coming all the way up. And then here is our little baby's brain. Say yay for me, I got good brain power. The little thing that looks like a butterfly, I tell people, is the ventricles. That's how we drain the fluid in our head so that we don't have hydrocephalus. So we're always happy to see that. And then the part that looks like a little peanut that we have outlined is the cerebellum. And that's how you and I breathe without thinking about it. So we're happy for that. This little picture's upside down, so let me turn it right side up for you. So easy to find a heart, so that's our little heart there in our tummy. There's our little baby's chin. These are our lips. They look bigger just because we pushed the sono machine against them.
Right.
And then we're looking at the very tip of the nose. And what we want to see is that whole upper lip to know that there's no cleft lip or cleft palate. And so you can see that whole lip is there. So there's no cleft lip or cleft palate. And then we'll go back to the right side. And so one little leg's coming this way, our other little leg's disappearing up to the top. That's actually the umbilical cord coming right into the baby's tummy. And so what we want to see is where the cord inserts, and to make sure we don't see any intestines or nice organs on either side. And then you can actually, there's a beautiful picture of it. That's gorgeous. And this is when she turned the color on the machine, and we count the number of blood vessels based on the flow. 3 vessels is a normal cord, and so she saw all 3 vessels, so that makes me happy. And then little babies have to have a stomach to be able to eat, so that little black circle's their stomach. The whole rest of the gray that we see is the liver. It's the biggest thing inside the baby's abdomen. And then that's our little heart. I actually think the other picture up top was a better picture. But our heart has 2 big parts and 2 little parts, which is what makes it 4 chambers. And then our little baby has kidneys. I tell people they look like little chocolate chip cookies. One on each side. And so we know our kidneys are there. And that's actually probably one of the best pictures of the sacrum. See those 3 little white bones? That makes up the very tip of our tailbone called the sacrum. And so we know there's no what we call sacral agenesis. And so that's there. Little fingers trying to jump into the picture. This is when we do our measurements, so that way we can see how well our baby's growing. So that's our little femur or our thigh bone. It's now a whopping 3.15 centimeters, so only about that big in real life, about as long as your nail bed. But matching perfectly with our dates, measuring 19 weeks and 6 days. So we like that. And then that same little tummy we outline. And if we made a little...
I thought was a face. I thought this was a face right here. She's like, no, I don't think so.
Just a little belly with the big liver and that little stomach bubble again. Our belly is 14.8 centimeters, so it's measuring a few days ahead of the game at 20 weeks and 1 day. And then we go back to that head, and there's that pretty, you can actually really see the ventricles well, that butterfly. Our head is now 18.5 centimeters completely around and measuring almost a week ahead at 20 weeks and 6 days. So we got some good brain power going. Measured our baby's heartbeat at 142 beats per minute. That's actually pretty. So she put the 2 pictures side by side so I could see our whole baby together. Since our baby's too big now for 1 picture. And then the other thing that she's really showing me well is our placenta. So you can see there's one end of the placenta. It comes all the way across the top, and it ends down here. And the reason why she's showing it to me so well is right now is partially covering the way out, which is the cervix. And so here's our picture of looking at that area up close. So here's the start of the way out. There's your bladder. This is the placenta. And it comes right down, almost covering that opening a little bit. And so it has the name called marginal previa. And so what that means is that if we were to have a baby right now, we'd have to have the baby by C-section, because if we tried to let that cervix open, it would cause the placenta to bleed. Lucky for us, we're only 20 weeks, and our placenta still has time to move up. And so what we would expect is as the uterus gets bigger, like how we blow up a balloon, that placenta is going to move up with it.
Right.
And so what we do is we look every 4 to 6 weeks and make sure that process